Hey, how's it going? So, we're going to work on some V for Vendetta stuff because it is almost the 5th of November. Um, so the goal today is I'm going to walk you through how I work on a page. As far as like what I do, scanning it in, how I get the black and white lines out. Because we were talking about a little about how you want to work on professional line art if you're a colorist or an aspiring colorist. And a lot of times it's like, well, you know, I feel weird asking professionals to send me line art, and like some of them respond, some of them don't, and I feel like I did something wrong, and this is a way to just kind of like skirt around all of that and to not have to deal with it for better or worse. So let's get into it. So right now you're looking at this is the raw scan that I did. The only thing I did was kind of rotated it to make it straight. It's like, not so straight there, but like kind of straight. I guess we could turn it a little bit. Let's turn it a little bit before we get started. Try to make it straight. This is by the way kind of a fool's errand because like I said, I scanned it out of a book, so like the spine where I like put a couple of Powers omnibuses on top of it to try to like flatten it out. And we're just kind of like gonna do the best we can with it. So yeah, when you scan something in, you want to make sure it's 600 DPI. And that's only because like anything you work on 300 or lower is going to be too small. And if anything, we might even want to work larger. We might even want to scan larger than 600 DPI because shrinking it is always going to work to your advantage. So with that in mind, all I do to take this and work it to a workable page where we can start to recolor. And by the way, we talked a little bit about V before, but apparently it was made using photographs of watercolors. Like, they had the line art as a cellophane layer on top of watercolors that was like essentially black and clear on top of watercolors. And then they took pictures of it and then like printed those, which I don't even like. It was the 80s and I don't know. This might have been like the best way to do this at the time, but it created like, it was like difficult to do things like knock out the fire and like, this is supposed to be a night scene. And I'm sure at the time, like, this was groundbreaking, revolutionary. But now it's starting to show its age. And we're gonna try to do something fun with it. So with that in mind, normally colors do not get like this dark in here. So this stuff might register as black when we put it through the process. And we're going to see how that looks and if we want to try to like hand, get rid of it. Because we're going to have to do it by hand. But only if it looks terrible. So so here's like, it's black line art, but it's all kinds of gray tones and stuff. So what we want to do is bring up the levels, which is Apple L. And so we have the levels here, and on the levels on the left side you have the darkest darks, and on the right side you have the lightest lights. So what you're looking at is this like hump here. If we move it over to like about where the middle of the hump is, like you get less like kind of like grays in the black. Like the things that should be black are now black. And you know, if we keep moving it in the other direction, it like darkens up the whole thing. Like you get real dark if you want. And then vice versa, you can pull this the other way, and it'll you know, mess with the whole thing. The highs will get real high, the lows will get, you know, no middle ground. But that's not what we want. We don't want no middle ground. We're just gonna like kind of put it a little past where we wanted it. Maybe a little. I'm worried about this right here. I'm a little bit worried. But you know what? It's live. It's live. You're live here with me. So, you know. 4chan post about levels. I don't go to 4chan. I can't 4chan. Please. Although I guess we're doing V for Vendetta. Like I should expect a certain amount of 4chan in here, right? There's going to be a certain amount of Fedora tips as we acknowledge each other as anonymous. Is that what's going to happen? At any rate, so we tweak the levels. We tweak the blacks a little darker black. Let's tweak the lights. The lights are already really high, but we're just gonna go a little bit just to hopefully help with this. So from here, all I do, a good Fedora isn't cheap. Well, you know, when you destabilize the government, you spare no expense. We're going to set the tolerance for the wand up to like 40. See how we're doing. So like we're getting like decent selections in here. You can like kind of click around, be like, all right. Oh man, we're getting selections over here, but this doesn't look that bad. It might actually look pretty cool. And like I said, we got selections in there. So this is like, by the way, this is pure like guerrilla warfare when it comes to like getting a workable page. Like you kind of want to make your best judgment. Like some of you might not want this like in here, and we're going to see how it is. So we've selected a good amount of black. I'm just going to control inverse, and then so I selected the inverse and just filled it with white. So it's not rocket science. Selected all the black and then selected the inverse and then filled it with white. And you're going to get like, so we got like kind of, you know, crunchy. It was like very, very dark in here, and the cape over here is a little bit crazy. Gimp's Magic Wand is a nice feature where you click it and hold it with moving the mouse up and down, and it previews different thresholdings as you move it. Oh, that's kind of neat. I'm not like, I don't use GIMP for anything, so I can't speak to the relevancy of that. But at any rate, we're gonna take this, and we have a bunch of like highs and lows and greens and stuff. So let's put it into grayscale. First of all, get rid of all the color that's left over. Now we just have grays. And let's just adjust threshold and see how it looks. So all right, we're looking okay. We're looking pretty good. Like we're picking up a little bit of the zip tone of the original. But just to see how it compares, like the line art to the original, let's just do let's just click back. So like, and let's look at some of the fine line in the face. So here's the rendering on the cheek. Like this is some subtle stuff that like we probably, you know, are going to struggle to pick up, but we do a pretty good job. It's not perfect, Like I said when I was working on the Spider-Man 2099 stuff, my headphones just clicked off, and I was wondering why I had them on. None of you stopped me. So yeah, we're gonna get some like stray pixels and stuff, and I don't know. Was I yelling with the headphones on? I feel like I was yelling. I'm sorry if I was yelling at you. I apologize. This is supposed to be a chill stream. I was fine. All right. I was hoping that maybe OBS saved me by me like turning down the mic just a little bit. At any rate, I think this is like pretty good, pretty workable. Let's check. Let's see like the rendering in the face here. We'll go back to the original. So this is the original scan again. And here's where we ended up. Original scan. Where we ended up. I mean, you can really like, if you totally zoom in, you can be like, oh, well, the subtle and nuance is lost. But like, really, I don't know. OBS leaves you to fail. Well, I'm glad that past Nickfil helped me not to do that. That guy's looking out for me. So one of the things that I think is going to be we're gonna copy and paste this into the original, because, and the only reason I don't normally do this is because the only reason I want to preserve the original colors is because these word balloons like don't have edges at all, and so it's like just like, well, you're on your own. And I want to kind of like leave at least like a little bit of a guide, and also like, so like we lost this edge of the panel border, so let's actually put that in ourselves. So, you know, it's not, what I'm saying is like, this is not foolproof, and you're not gonna get, it's like, this is your like best option for like, I want to work on XYZ. You know, like the Spider-Man 2099 stuff was made in like 1993, 1994. I don't know where the original line art is. Rick Leonardi doesn't have a Twitter account. Like, if I want to work on that stuff, this is the way to do it, you know? At any rate, let's start flatten. This is threshold. Yep. So we can just start going crazy. Oh, we're RGB. Oh no. Let's click it over to CMYK. Don't flatten. All right. From here, we're just gonna start flattening. And so this is the scene. I don't know if you guys have read the book or seen the movie, but this is the scene where he blows up the courthouse, I believe. It has a specific name, but I've forgotten it. It might even be written down literally in front of me. There's a movie? Yes, there's a movie. I don't know if is it written down? You stand. I don't think it is. Dear Lady. I'm sure it's not Dear Lady. All right. So now that we've kind of like done that, let's try to. I'm gonna use the pencil tool to try to kind of carve out the word balloons. And I'm not being, you know, like super perfect about it. You know, we're just gonna, one of the reasons why I picked this page, by the way, is because the book is very, very dense and very, very like heavy on conversation. We mentioned in the other stream that you know what? Actually, we're gonna do this. I want to see like where the word balloons like work. So yeah, we mentioned in the other stream that apparently this book was made. It was serialized in newspapers, and then in black and white. I guess this is like the whole. This is all word balloon. Maybe. We're in the weeds when it comes to the word balloons. So because it was all serialized and without color, it like reads in a very odd way. You know, like it reads like, you know, something needs to happen or somebody needs to say something important like every, you know, page and a half or whatever. And so because of that, the action that happens within the book is like, you know, here's a bunch of action that's going to happen. It's going to happen in 2 panels. Like in the movie, there's this like crazy freaking knife fight where he's like flinging knives around like a madman V is, and he in the book it's like 3 panels. So I was like looking for that scene and could not find it, and then when I finally found it, I was like, well, I can't really do that page. So, but I feel like this is a good page for us to tweak because it has it has a change of location, or not a change of location, but a change of the lighting in the location. He you know, is talking to this statue and then blows it up. So you know, and I also figured that this was like a good page to remix because remix recolor, because the fire was handled like kind of weird, like just the panels of the fire and the explosion just did not resonate very well. So it's good to pick something that you know you can improve on if you're going to do a project like this. Like if I see a color portfolio, and we're going to talk about portfolios in a minute here, but if I see a color portfolio and it has, you know, a Hellboy page in it, and like it's not as good as Dave Stewart's, all I'm going to think is like, you know, Dave Stewart does color on Hellboy. All I'm going to think is like, man, this guy's not as good as Dave Stewart. And you don't want to go against Dave Stewart. He's real good. Why would you want to be like, I'm going to take a shot, you know, the whole, you know, The Wire, Omar coming, like, you take a shot at the king, you best not miss. You know? Omar coming. So anyway, now that I've proved to all of you how white I am, the point is that you want to pick something that has either not been colored before or something that you know you can improve upon. You're like confident about it. When I was trying to look for the Spider-Man line art, the Spider-Man 2099 line art, I was poking around and tried to find the actual line art before deciding to scan it in myself, and somebody out there had recolored the line art, and it was not as good as the stuff that came out in like the 80s or 90s. And I'm not saying like, you know, you have to be professional to do this. Like anybody can do this, you know, and you're gonna fail before you succeed. But like, if you're gonna be putting together portfolios and looking for work, you're gonna get work by you know, improving upon the line art, not, treading old ground or not, choosing old art has the advantage of older printing method requirements. Yeah. So, we're going to get to your question in a second. Yeah. The thing about old art is that like you said, you have like antiquated methods for print. Not only that, but like something that I feel like a lot of artists don't think about is, with recognizable line art, like you look at this and you're like, oh, V for Vendetta. And if you like by using recognizable line art, like Spider-Man 2099 or V for Vendetta, and doing it well, you open yourself up to the advantage of like, if you put this in front of somebody who loves this, who like is older than you, with old and loves old comic books, like say I could put the Spider-Man 2099 potentially in the hands of like an editor that worked on that book, or like somebody who is like a fan like me, who grew, like I'm 36, somebody who's now in editorial at 36, who's into Spider-Man 2099 just as much as I am. I have not considered replacing the speech bubbles with Stranger Things font. No. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. But like, so, if you execute well on something like that, and then you put it in front of the right nose, the right eyeballs, potentially, you get a little bit of a leg up. You get a little bit of notice, So like, that's not nothing. All right. So let's get in here. V is like, he's just like dark cape, dark, everything dark, right? I think that's his costume. I mean, I'm asking you guys, but we can just check. I mean, it's green, but I think it's supposed to be like gray. Yeah, he's got brown hair. All right, we'll keep the hair brown. All right, abstract question. In the old manga translating circles, oh man, coloring some of those splash pages was big. Have you ever seen anything like that in portfolios, or is it taboo? So I haven't really seen that in portfolios, but like I assume that like those portfolios are geared towards those portfolios are probably geared towards a different audience. When you make a portfolio, you want to keep in mind like who it's for. You want to make it easy for somebody to like it and enjoy it. If I have a portfolio full of manga, and then I apply for a job at Marvel Comics, like they're gonna hesitate. But if I have a portfolio full of Avengers, they're like, oh, I know what this is supposed to look like. You know what I mean? So I think like whether that was big in the splash pages back in the day, coloring those, whether or not that was big, like, it might have been, but it was probably out of my circle, What I was cognizant of was like, I just told you not to do this, but I did put Hellboy pages in front of the Hellboy editor. He gave me a very nice compliment of these are the first Hellboy pages in a really long time that don't make me want to puke. I would not advise putting Hellboy pages in front of the Hellboy editor. That was, yeah, that was something. Yeah, this is how I know what not to do. All right, I'm catching up on chat. Pro tip, consider it. But what if I goof it in front of an editor fan that is a purist? This is the thing, man. Like, I feel like, okay, I assume that you're meaning when you say purist magi, that you mean like they think like this is the only way you can do things. And I don't know if that really happens that much in comics. Like a lot of us have a lot of nostalgia for older things and not a lot of nostalgia for newer things, but you know, because that's the way nostalgia works. Nick Filardi, come on. But we're gonna check out how his leg was rendered. Wow, his leg was kind of rendered and then just kind of turned into the blue of the building. I think we're on our own. Yeah, I think you'd find that mostly everyone in the industry would be welcoming to recolors, especially if you were new and you were showing your portfolio around, and you were like, hey, I'm looking for somebody to take a chance on me. Like Marvel's not going to take the chance on you, but somebody who's a super fan of something might, you know. And like I don't know if they're going to be a purist or not, but even if they are a purist, like you can have that conversation with them and then they remember you, you know, like the thing about that is that, like, you know, when I come home from like a convention, I'm exhausted, and B, I've met a ton of people, like a monstrous amount of people, and the people that stick with me in my mind are the people that like I have actual conversations with. Like there's a colorist who actually just sent me a portfolio, who I reviewed a portfolio at Charlotte like 6 or 7 months ago, and I remembered him because he like sat down with me and had like conversation. We talked about it, and we talked about SCAD. He just graduated from there. Yeah, and he followed me on Twitter, and so I followed him back because, you know, like that's the thing, is like if you stick into my feed, if you stick into, you know, my Twitter feed, if you have a constant reminder, then I'm gonna remember you. If you're like, hey, do comics, and then you like slide your comic to me and then you run away, like that comic, I mean, maybe this is insensitive, but that comic ends up in a stack of other comics where I'm like, oh, I should read that sometime, you know. My time is pretty limited. Yeah, maybe it sounds mean and insensitive, but like when you do that, your comic goes up against, like, you know, Jonathan Hickman comics that I haven't read yet, and like, you know, bigger names and stuff like that. It's like stuff that I'm like I've bought that I'm like excited to read. So yeah, I would say have a meaningful dialogue more than a comic book drop off. So we're super loose with these flats because I'm flatting it for me. This isn't necessarily something I would do if I was doing this professionally. Is this is Cape, right? That's Cape. It's probably Cape. It's Cape. So here's a challenge on this page that I don't think the original colorist thought about. To be fair, you know, like the original colorist was watercoloring and you know, moving a transparency up and down and trying to make it work, and you know, especially on pages that were not even meant for color. So if it sounds like I'm ragging on him, I'm not. Like, he had like an impossible task and achieved it very, very well, especially for the time. So while I'm talking about color in this, I'm not ragging on it because, you know, he broke ground. Like, this comic was unique for sure. That said, something that I think is like the statue is going to be gray. He is going to be gray, and it's at night. So we're going to like have to handle all of that. Oh, we didn't deselect his face down here. All right. Give me 1 second. Shan's watching TV in the other room. I don't want it to interfere or get like copyright takedown on the video. Top right frame is missing the hair. Is it? Page 1, panel 3 is missing hair. Oh, this guy? Boop. Oh, shoot. Alright. So we've blocked out V. Let's block out the statue and then kind of deal with the city and everything else. And we're staying loose, like because the original stuff was pretty loose too, so anything we do is going to be tighter than the original stuff. As you saw when I was like trying to flat the boot, like the boot was like, you know, basically just turned into the same color as the windows. Turn down the telly. I'm not saying telly. Just because we're coloring V for Vendetta does not mean that we are going to start using, you know, in this flat, we don't talk about flats. We talk about apartments. All right. We're American. God damn it. Blimey. Oh no. Chat has gone full Brit. Alright. I gotta off stream when we start actually doing the color for this. Well, we're not gonna do the color off stream. We're gonna do the color on stream on the 5th. V for Vendetta Day. I gotta do the research and you know, figure out if this is an important landmark that needs to be colored accurately. I think it probably is, but we're just doing flats, so it doesn't matter. As long as it's different than the rest of the thing, then it doesn't matter. Alright. Let's color the world. Alright. We're gonna... This is like the laziest flat, but boom, there we go. That panel's done. Oh my god. I'm getting imager tips from the chat. Hold on. Not brown. I mean, you mean that like I didn't do the brown all the way to the bottom there, Magi? Is that what you're saying? Also, does anybody need this mix and batch? We could seize the steel right now. We could seize it live on stream. Oh, well, so I don't have to worry about that because it's underneath the black. So like, well, I mean, there's a few rogue pixels. I guess we could nab it. But like, I don't know. It's underneath the black, and yeah, we could start whipping up anything. Colors, cakes, who knows? The stream could take a turn. It started as a Photoshop stream, and then we seized that deal. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna seize that deal. I actually I recently impulse bought a Nintendo Switch, and I did so without realizing that I don't really have any money for games. So now I just have this Nintendo Switch that I'm like, hey, the system update on it was very, very nice. Games are coming. The Marvel paycheck for Deadpool is coming. So quick transition into creative cakery coloring. Man. So a buddy of mine, one of my con wives, Larry Watts, we go to a lot of conventions together. His actual wife, oh, you bought a red hat, so you can officially, okay, so Kate just posted that she can officially do the Heartthrob cosplay if you need to. It says pizza. I hope that's okay, dude. That's fine. You should, if you do put the I assume you mean the coveralls and where she's like fucking up her workplace in, I think, the third or fourth issue of the first run. It's incredible that I remember that, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to rob a bank in book one. Yeah. If you do, you should take a picture. You should post it up so that I can retweet it. And you should tag Chris and Robert in that as well. I'm sure they would love it. I don't think we've had a Heartthrob cosplay, much to my chagrin. You would be the first. It's weird because it's like Heartthrob's very like real life kind of based, so it'd be tough to do a cosplay. I mean, I guess Mercer could be a good cosplay because it's just like a maroon suit, and like blonde hair. Oh my god, I just realized there's no line art here. We're in the weeds. Let's see. Oh my god, they were in the weeds too, and they said fuck it. Oh god. All right, we're gonna use the pen. It was an accident. You were at Bork's place. You were like, "Wait, I have this coverall album." Man, we fuck it, Strat's engaged already. We're so early to be like, well, fuck it. Also, I'm trying to make an all ages stream and I keep not doing that. This is all garbage. This is just go watch Conan O'Brien instead. Dragon JS, thank you for the follow. Welcome to what will inevitably be known as how I ended up not working in the comic industry anymore through vulgarity. I don't have the tablet on an arm for it to swing down like that. What it is, it's the base stand that comes on the, gosh, how many inches is this? I think it's the 24 inch. It's whatever the one step down. When it came out, it was like the top of the line, but I think they made like one that's like 2 inches bigger now. It's either 24, 26, or 22. It's the stand that came with it. Just work for Vertigo. I already work for Vertigo. American Way. Oh, right there. Right up there. American Way. Issue 4. It's coming out November 8th. That's soon. Man, you segued me right into a plug. That's soon. We should probably talk about that at some point. I should be doing my job. Yeah. American Way is coming out. I don't know. That's the plug. That's the plug that I have prepared for you. So there's all these kind of like, so this has like, you know, this line is kind of like inferred, so we're gonna amp that up. There's a lot of in the artwork for V. There's a lot of like inferned line art and stuff. Wiggity Willy. Thank you, Sean, for the follow. Sean's a buddy of mine from Connecticut. We played some board games, we played some board games last Thanksgiving, and we're gonna be playing some board games this Thanksgiving, hopefully. I packed up some, but I'm derailing. I was talking about V, and I forgot what I was talking about. Let's put some lights on, but let's not make the lights warm. Because we want this to be like the explosion, like visually impactful. So in order to do that, you kind of have to like, normally I would do like yellow lights, like the this is set in like the 70s, I want to say. I can't remember. You left out that you won that. Did you win? What? I can't remember. Oh, we played the Lords of Waterdeep. Yeah, you won that. You won that round, didn't you? I'm bringing King of Tokyo. What else am I bringing? Red Dragon Inn, Resistance, Spyfall, Codenames, and Forbidden Island. So why would Nick win? The one game, okay, so Boix, who's might be in the chat, might not be, plays board games online on stream with people regularly, and occasionally I drop in and I play board games over there, and I've never won a board game on stream. In fact, I once died in Clank in the last room before you get out and like receive all your points. So it was a little bit of a shit show, and I was not thrilled about it. But the one game we did play off stream, not only did I win, but I like sustained high score for that game, like, and nobody knows about it. And all that happened, honestly, dear reader. And I know you're not readers, you're listeners. And I know you're not listeners, you're viewers. But it happened. All right. I think we're like practically done flatting this already. It's been 48 minutes since we started. We're almost done. We're gonna give the rooftop a different color, just so that it like this panel is visually like, in order for like the where he places down the candy to be visually impactful, or like even have like kind of a suggested unique space, that needs to be a separate color from the rest of the buildings and stuff in the background here, and these need to be different than the backgrounds for the skies and stuff. We'll do this one too. Something like that. Yeah, I think this is good. So we're gonna be coloring this on the 5th of November. On, I think that's a Sunday. I know I normally don't do art stuff on the weekends, but we're gonna make an exception and do that. So if you're into V, come hang out. We're gonna be talking about V more, and we're gonna be talking about we're gonna be recoloring this and hopefully doing a better job than the original colors. There is a charm to the original colors though, but I think we can outshine them. It's been like 40 years, so we should be able to, like, the technology should enable us, at least, if not the know-how of the man behind the wheel here, to do something decent with it. But yeah, like, that's all you need to get started, like, trying to make a color portfolio. If you're embarrassed about, like, trying to get, Color what? The page is done. Print it. Yeah, we're gonna try to hold a higher standard. I mean, it is. We're like pretty close. Throw texture over it, and we're done. But yeah, this technique, scanning something in like this, and going through the steps that we did with the levels, and then tweaking the line art manually, and then just kind of like flattening it. You know, we're prepped and ready for a portfolio page if you wanted to do something like that. And if you're going to show around a portfolio, you're going to want to do sequentials. I know we do a lot of pinups on this stream, but like, you got to show sequentials. I don't ever want to see a pinup in an actual portfolio of like somebody trying to get some work done, or get hired on a book. Yeah. And we're going to talk portfolios more in depth, on the 5th of November. So come hang out for that. For now, I got to go back to actually coloring Heartthrob issue 5, which is not out now. Out in November. Yeah, it's coming out in November. I haven't done it yet. I got to go back to it. So if you'll excuse me.